Hi theatre friends, welcome back to Stage Life, or if you're new here, welcome for the first time. So today I am going to share something really exciting with you all. I actually got in touch with the one and only Amanda Barrie. I got to talk to her all about her theatre career and how she currently feels about the theatres being shut due to the coronavirus pandemic. So I hope you all enjoy, guys, and here it is.
Come on, Coke. Here you are. I'm fine. I'm on my way, Lil. Lil,
So-
I'm on my way. Here you go. Go on. Television, love Hill. Sorry. Oh, God, you didn't leave that one. Well, I didn't know it was on that Oprah's on the back of the thing. Sorry. Oh. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's usually me that does that. It's usually me that does that. But this time it's Hillary that did it. Right, we're going on that one.
Amanda, thank you so much for agreeing to have a chat with me today. It's so lovely to speak to you. So you did your theatre training at Arts Educational in London, is that right?
I have to say, I did get expelled from there as well.
Did you? Did you know that's what you always wanted to do growing up, that you wanted to go to drama school and then pursue a career in the theatre?
The whole thing was, my mother put me on the stage when I was 3 in a professional show, 8 shows a week. And she was a real theatre mother. So I was pushed, but they do say they can't push you through a door you don't want to go through. Okay. So I wanted to do it as well. So that was that. And I stayed sort of on stage that from then right up until the time when television came. And because I was expelled for going for an audition, actually, which I shouldn't have gone for. I ran away, I did an audition when I shouldn't have been in London. And I was the only one that got it. There were students who were allowed to be and they didn't get it. So from there, I literally left home, left school, left everything, and lived in Soho and in the Theatre Girls Club, which was a gift to everybody. And then I just went on in the theatre. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I suppose I went through being a dancer, then being in review, then going into musicals, and then playing the lead in the West End. No acting training, I'm here to say. That just sort of happened. And then I spent I think about at least 7 years playing the lead in the West End. And that was my favourite time of all.
So what was your first leading role that you played in the West End?
The first lead in the West End was in a play called Public Mischief with George Cole. And because I had dyslexia and things really, really badly, I didn't know I couldn't read the script out loud. So I went in a shaking wreck, a quivering mass of, I cannot do this. And then sort of pulled it out at the last minute. So to anybody suffering from any of those things, yes, you can do it. So that was my first one in the West End. And then next one was one from America, Any Wednesday. There were 13 American producers had to get that. That was an audition and a half. And I went on, I just was there all the time from there on in, doing show after show.
So you actually got married in a theatre. How come you decided to get married there?
I mean, I suppose me is still sort of in love with the theatre. And we couldn't, I kept saying, oh, I don't want to get married. And I don't want to go, I don't want to get married there. I kept saying about, and I was doing pantomime actually, and one of the boys said to me, oh, we got married at Drury Lane Theatre. I went, I don't believe it. I had no idea you could get married there. Because the first time I went to London, I didn't know anywhere, and I was only about 13 and a half on my own down there. And the only place I looked for was Drury Lane Theatre. And I went to Drury Lane Theatre and I said my prayers on the steps and I said, please, please, theatre, please can I be part of it for the rest of my days? Yeah, so that was me. And Dan Leno, famous theatre person, he did the same thing apparently, so I didn't know he'd done it.
So due to the coronavirus pandemic, the theatres have been shut for the majority of the last year now. London's West End especially is always so full of life And so it is so sad just to see it all shut down. And so how has that made you feel? Because it is just so devastating.
I live in, when I'm in London, I'm not there at the moment, I live right in the middle in Covent Garden. And years ago, when Covent Garden Market was moved, all the theatres came under terrible pressure because people were trying to buy them and get the land, because it was all going to be, the biggest piece of real estate in the world was going to be redeveloped. And Covent Garden was it. And I don't know how many theatres, there were 17 London theatres threatened by roadworks and the development of Covent Garden, all the West End. And we, I being very much one of them, started Save London Theatres, because everybody just petitioned. We had the most wonderful support from people who came forward. People, you know, Dame Sybil Thorndyke, all the sirs and the lords and they all came forward. The cream of the profession came forward to help. And in the end, we stopped the development of Covent Garden and saved its thing. Now to see it back to being empty, and the theatre, I can't bear to think about the theatres just empty, because I played in most of them. I think I played in 17 of them actually, but I can't believe they're empty. And of course, there's a big danger, because property is always, they're always after the land and the property. In theatres, if things like the roof, they can leave it closed long enough that the roof, all those roofs in those old theatres, which you've seen, they have fallen down. If they have problems with the building and the roof and those things, they then become under danger. They've got to pull down, which is what a lot of developers are seeking and doing. So I have a sort of double fear. And also a lot of theatres have burnt down when people have been doing work on them. So all those theatres, like Drury Lane at the moment, that Lloyd Webber is doing, I keep thinking, oh, please don't let anything happen to it. Yeah.
But there is hope on the horizon, and fingers crossed, if the government roadmap does go to plan, we will all be back in theatres very soon.
But can I say one thing? You know, all your age group, there are things now that really need to be attended to, and that is the support of your local theatres, because I think probably the big ones will get some sort of help. I mean, there's so many people employed in a theatre. You know, I mean, people forget about dressers, musicians, lighting people, electric costume makers. It's a big industry. But I've always desperately tried to think of a way that people like you and your media influence could find a way of making those theatres, even if you can't go back now to full thing, to earn their living as a building. It would be wonderful if people that aren't going to the theatre, but if they would normally be going to the theatre, that they at least maybe found a way with ask their local theatre how they could help, and say, even if we all bought a ticket for something we're not coming to see, even if we bought a programme for what you're trying to put on, that something was coming in, because I don't think those little theatres, and I don't know how they dish out the money anyway. And it's really important, because without them, you can't put the tours on, you can't do the rep, you can't do the thing. And the whole industry is built like a machine. And you can't do it without those.
I actually have a lot of friends who are currently training at drama school, and I just would like to know if there is any advice you can give them or any wise words you'd like to pass on.
Well, Moss Hart, the great writer, I think, of all the huge American shows that went on, he gave a piece of advice, and he said, you know, the theatre is 3% talent and 97% endurance. And that is true, and it's never changed. Theatre's never been an easy profession, but always the people who somehow scraped through and kept going, they might have to have that all their life, never mind a pandemic. So, I mean, that is of itself a great piece of advice. Other piece of advice, never have the confidence of the amateur. We're always insecure, and that is a good sign. You shouldn't ever be feeling pleased. And kids out there, wherever it'll be all right. The theatre's been going a long time. Something will happen, but it is so up to people now to come up with bright ideas, find ways of doing things, raise the money for theatres, get involved in any way. Just go into the theatre, knock on the door and say, how can we help? What can we do? Because somebody always comes up with a brilliant idea. So it will take more than this pandemic to stop everything. There've been pandemics before, there've been plagues before. I mean, there's been an ice age that somebody got through. I mean, we're not going to actually end up put down by it. It's an enormous inconvenience, but to take advantage of it, all those students at home, read every play, look up, get on, download anything that you want to see, look at people's performances, all those things.
Well, Amanda, thank you so much. It has been absolutely a pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Danny, thank you so much, and good luck with all of it. Yeah, and all you lot out there, come on, you're the young ones now. Think of something to do.
We will do our very best, I am sure. Again, thank you so much.